welcome to tonight. This is called Growing Up in Fort Wayne with Ties to Myanmar, Burma. That is a / Burma, a place with two names, depending on what you call it. It is part of IPFW's UC2 initiative, or University Community Conversation, which is an attempt to connect the university with the surrounding community by designing events that bring the community together with faculty to share their interests in topics related to Northeast Indiana. This initiative is housed in the Institute for Research, Scholarship, and Creative Endeavors, IRSC. And the topic we are exploring in spring 2017 is how we care for various parts of our community in this region. Tonight, we're going to be hearing and learning about the various groups that make up the community, the Burmese community here in Fort Wayne. And before we get started, I'm going to announce that the next event of this sort, the UC2 event, is called Zika, What We Know and What We're Doing About It. It will take place here on Tuesday, April 4th at 7:30 p.m. And if you would like to get more information about this event or other events in our series, you can look for the UC2 series on Facebook and at facebook.com UC2IPFW. In about 6 weeks, we should have the video that is being made of this event tonight up and available for you to see as well, but that is still in progress. So we have a group of panelists here that may increase by at least one if the last panelist to arrive does arrive at some point tonight. I would like to invite those panelists up onto the stage where I will ask about 5 questions and give each of them a time to maybe 3 minutes to respond in any way that they like. And then at the end, we will have a little time left over for questions from the audience, and hopefully we can continue the discussion during that time and into areas that are of interest to you. Can we have our panelists please come up to the stage? Again, thank you to all of the panelists for coming. And I will pose this first question and then give each of you about 3 minutes. I'm not going to have the timer on, but that gives you some idea of how long we are hoping that you'll have something to say on each of these topics. Because part of the first question is that you introduce yourself and your community, I will get right into the questions at this point. Could you please briefly tell where you are from and how it was when you first arrived in Fort Wayne? What did you find difficult about coming to this country and to Fort Wayne in particular, and how were you able to make it through the foreign system here? Maybe we can begin here on the left and go down through, and each of you can speak.
I'm going to start it from here. Hello. My name is Ye Win Let. I was born and raised in Taungji, capital of Shan State, which is the eastern part of Burma. I left Burma when I was about 18 years old, and since then I've been living outside Burma. I came to the United States through a scholarship program to study at the Indiana University, Bloomington, where I got my bachelor degree in economics before I moved to Fort Wayne. Since then, I have been living here in Fort Wayne. I also received my MBA specialization in human resource management. That's what my professional is. The reasons that I came to Fort Wayne is meant to be just a stop before I move on to the next chapter of my life. But at that time, in 2007 and 2008, I saw a lot of new refugees came to Fort Wayne and they could use a little help. And I decided to stay there. And since I've been living here, and it is such a great place to live in, and I just couldn't compare and just don't really want to move to any other place besides Fort Wayne. This is such a lovely place. Since I came through as a scholarship programs, my background is a little different from most of the refugees that you will see in Fort Wayne. So I would just go over the experience instead. Some of the experience to live in Fort Wayne is to fit into this community, because coming from refugee camps, growing up and living there for about 10, 20 years and moving to a advanced, one of the top country in the world is such a big change. They have faced so many challenges throughout the transition, but counting from 2007 to 2017, in that 10 years, we have seen so much progress that could not have done without support from many community advocates, not just within the Burmese, throughout the social agencies and any other local agency in Fort Wayne, and we really appreciate it for that. Thank you.
My name is Abraham Tang. I am now pastoring at Myanmar Indigenous Christian Church. 1997, we came here with my wife and 6 children, and I studied at Cincinnati Christian University, and I finished my master program, and we moved. The whole family moved to Fort Wayne in 2001, and I started preaching the gospel. At that time, the Burmese community, the refugee family is only population 400 and 500, and I chose to live here, and I help the Burmese people who need help, and for example, helping for translation, transportation, and helping at hospital and the office, something like that, and at the same time, I preach the gospel, and God bless me, and now I do have a living church. Now the church member is now 400 people right now. And first of all, when we moved to Fort Wayne, the first impact in my heart is not so good, because our neighbors stole our refrigerators and all whatever, dishwasher or everything we have from Cincinnati, we brought here, and so all are stolen. But anyway, God provided new furnitures and new kitchen stuffs, and we preached the gospel, and we help Burmese refugee families, and then the Burmese refugee family is growing, and then now she knows more than 6,000, and I still helping the Burmese people, and I am now one of the Burmese people who is helping without money. So people generous give me, but I never receive it, because generous helping, generous giving is my way, my life. And then I feel that Fort Wayne is my hometown. Now, I love Fort Wayne people, like you. And my son also graduated from IPFW. Now he is working at National Guard, and he's a lieutenant officer, and my daughter is now studying here nursing program. And also my son, the youngest son, now he is now 20 years old. He is also attending IPFW, and I appreciate the professors, the mayor, and all leaders in Fort Wayne. Thank you for this program. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. This is my pleasure to participate in this program, and I really appreciate those who organized this program. And I saw a lot of people, they are really interested about Burma or Myanmar. I'm really, really happy. So now I work at the neighborhood clinic, and also as a current leader, community leaders. And also I take care of church as a church pastor at the Fort Wayne Seventh-day Adventist. So when I've been to Fort Wayne, first floor I've been to at Indianapolis at 2007, and I stayed there 1 year. So here in Fort Wayne, we need a church pastor to take care of a church member. And also we need really need to have the people, especially those who needy. And also Maine, I working together with Maine as a board 1 year. And I find there's a lot of our people, we call it cultural crossings, a lot of different things. And so, but we just pass through, and a lot of help from our friends, brother and sister who live in Fort Wayne, helping us many such a way. So we trying to build our community, and also all especially our students. So educated really important. So we're going to find how to help them. Thank you so much.
Hi, before I introduce myself, I would like to thank to the UC2 program and then Dr. Stephen Butte, and then who's and then Dr. Lee Roberts, and help us to spend times with you tonight and have a opportunity to share about our community success and challenges. My name is Myanmar Nantin. I am a community advocate, and I arrived to the United States in 1995 as a refugee resettlement program because of political condition in Burma. I graduated Indiana University Bloomington, and I recently graduated from Indiana Wesleyan University as studying public administration. So I am a long-term community advocate in here in Northeast Indiana, and about 6-7 years ago, I was a founder of the Burmese Advocacy Center, and since then we've been providing services to the community regards of health and employment and economic self-sufficiency and whatever is needed. So we've been providing services till last year. So, and I recently coming back from Burma. We are developing as sister cities and a friendship city, which is last year Mayor Tom Henry signed it as a friendship city, one of the city from Myanmar, and now we are hopefully in the near future we're going to have a sister city. So I was looking forward to this program tonight, and thank you.
Hi everyone, Mingalawa. Yeah. First, I would like to apologize for my very bad pronunciations and limited English. And then I would like to be introduced by myself. My name is Ayu. So I arrived to United States in 1997 to Fort Wayne. So I'm living in Fort Wayne around 20 years. I'm living here. And then originally I'm from Burma. My background education is I get the 1976, I get the AGTI. That means the AGTI means the Government Technical Institute. I got the electrical communication engineer in 1976. And then I'm working at the government service at the Myanmar Oil Corporation, 10-year service. And then after that, I don't like the Burmese military dictatorship, the government system. At that time, around 1988, I started fighting back to our military government. And then 1988, I going to the Thai-Burma border. And then I'm living in revolutions from the ABSDF, All Burma Student Democratic Front. I'm fighting back to Burma military government, 1988 to 1993. After that, I'm not able to stay at the jungle, so I'm going to be UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner of Refugee, and then I've been changed to the refugee life. And then I went to the United States 1997. So I arrived to United States 1997 till now. I'm living. Before I'm working at the Nishikawa Standard Company, and then around 2005, I quit my job, and then I tried to another job at the auto lift company 4 years. After that, I'm working only the community service job with the Myanmar Nantin. And then I'm working the Burmese Community Center first. And then we are helping for the new refugee people, helping for transportation, and then hospital, going to hospital, some translation. And that's first they come to United States, they need to help a lot of things for the language barrier and then transport everything. We can help in for the Burmese community. And then right now I'm retirement, and then I'm working with the Myanmar Nantin and other communities. Currently I'm working at the 6615 Hana Street for the Burmese temple. It's like a Burmese community center. Many people have a lot of cases. They have something trouble with the police, with the crime. They make a violation, something for the OWI, DWI, or something. Too many problems have the Burmese people. We can helping and take care with the Justice Center for the Fort Wayne, Allen County Justice Center, and then we can helping for the. We hire the attorney, and then we take care from the jail or something, helping for the Burmese people. Now I'm working at the Allen County Courthouse for the Burmese interpreter. Thank you.
Thank you to each of you for your answers. The next question is that many people who are perhaps non-Burmese here in this area use the word Burma or the word Burmese, but could you tell us a little bit about who the various peoples that are meant by this word Burmese actually are, or tell us a little bit more so we have a more detailed, perhaps, understanding of Burma?
You want to do it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more than 3 minutes to explain the difference between Myanmar and Burma, because that's too complicated. Right now, just want to go over our panelists. The one that you see all the way on the other side, Burma, Mo, Korean, Chin, and I just get confused myself. I'm the Burmese Muslim. I don't really know if that fall under any ethnic group because the government take it away several years ago. So, but the community itself, they continue to use Burmese Muslims. And we have a center on Sadamaya Avenue, and it is called the Burmese Muslim Education and Community Center. So I'm one of the founders for that organization. Going back to the question of Burma and Myanmar, literally, Myanmar is the new name that most people are starting to use. Burma used to be the name of the country. But when we look at the historical content of these two names, they are pretty much interchangeable. They are pretty much the same things that refer to the people who live in the central part of the nation. And after Burma gained independence from the British, we have 3 constitutions. The first 2 constitutions use both Burma and Myanmar in 2 different languages. That's where the confusion came from. When we say that in our local language, we use Myanmar. So there's no confusions about using Myanmar when we say that in our own language. But in English, over several years, we have been using the name Burma up until 1989, when the military government changed that name into Myanmar just to make it easy to use one single name regardless of what language we speak. They wanted to use Myanmar instead of Burma. But that started more division politically, because the people who get along with the military government accepted the change and started using Myanmar. But the groups like the Western nation, like United States, United Nations, most of the European unions, and the groups or the people affiliated with the opposition groups continue to use Burma just to show support to the opposition groups. But that all changed starting from 2010, because we started seeing the political transitions. It is no longer the military rule, but we still have about 20% taking over the military side of the coin. But in starting from 2015 onward, including the United States, including United Nations, most of the media started to use Myanmar. So right now, we are starting to refer to the country as Myanmar, so that makes things a lot easier. And the second thing is referring to the people, food, language, culture. That also continues to be really confusing. Let me tell you this. In the previous one that we use, Burmese, I usually say, I am Burmese from Burma, and I speak Burmese. That makes sense. But with the new name, I'm going to say exactly the same things, and this is how it's going to come out. I am Myanmar from Myanmar, and I speak Myanmar. It doesn't make sense at all. So that is why, even though we continue to refer to the name of the country as Myanmar, you will continue to hear the word Burmese, because we just couldn't figure out how to fit into this English language when we refer to the people, food, traditions, and all those things. And going into how acceptance these two names in the larger context of the Burmese society, that is more difficult and controversial. Because as I explained it earlier, both the word the Burmese or Burma and Myanmar are referred to one single group that live in central Burma. So looking into the historical content, that doesn't represent everybody living in the country. And people like Mon, Karen, Chin, Shan, some of these groups find it so offended because they don't want to live in somebody else's name. They want to be known as their own name. So that is why when you go around in Fort Wayne, people continue to refer them as Karen and Chin and Moon, and you might probably not going to find everybody referring to Burmese. That is one of the reasons. I don't really know how we're going to solve the problems in any future, but when it comes to the community as a whole and leaving the political aside, we continue to understand that what the Burmese or Myanmar refer to the people from the country. So that is one of the main reasons. I don't really think that people in Fort Wayne will have a problem, except for some who oppose the whole idea of living under somebody else's name. But eventually we will accept the new name. And the one interesting thing that the Burmese government tried to do is to differentiate the Burmese and Myanmar. And they want to use the Burmese Burma to go back to the original term and use at Burma, which is one of the gentlemen on the other side, Nkeuayu, belong to that major ethnic groups. And they want to use Myanmar as more inclusive term. So that is why they changed the name to Myanmar, refer everybody in the country as Myanmar. But when we are referring to just one particular group that live in central Burma as Burma. I hope I didn't confuse everybody with my explanation.
Thank you. The next question is, I'm wondering whether you can tell us what sort of experiences you've had more recently here in Fort Wayne and in the United States in general, and maybe you could tell us about how your young people and older people are doing here in the community.
I want to continue my brother's presentation. It's not finished yet. When the British colony came to Burma, so the Burmese king fought the British, and so the British, they knew our country was Burma. So Burma comes from British government long time ago. But in Burma, actually not only Burma, but there are many ethnic groups. And then, according to the Burmese history, Burma is called Myanmar. But the king was Burmese. So, and the British government knew that they fought with the Burmese king, so they did not know other ethnic groups. So the Burma came from the British government, and then now when the dictatorship military government regimed our country, so they changed. Because Myanmar represents all ethnic groups, like Chin, Shan, like Karen, something like that. So Myanmar is include all ethnic groups. Burma only represents only the Burmese people in Burma, like that. Like now, at that time, 80% of the population is Burmese speaking, and the other 20% is the other ethnic groups. So, lastly, Burma represents who are speaking Burmese, and Myanmar represents all ethnic groups in Burma.
So it is up to you how you want to name us. So, and politically, the future government in Myanmar will decide whether they can go to Burma or Myanmar or another names. So regarding to your questions, I would like to talk about a little bit our experience in Fort Wayne. So since I think the first wave of the refugee came to the United States, Fort Wayne, and the gentleman, his name is Go Chang A. He is right now in Thailand and teaching English. So there was about 50 Burmese students come for the resettlement program because of the Burmese political crisis and social, political, and economic crisis in Burma. At the time, it was just only about 50 Burmese students in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And you're probably already aware that Neil and Diana, and who was helping us at the time, and I think she's there sitting and listening about us now. So thank you so much for all your kindness, and warmly welcome Burmese refugee in here in Indiana. After 20 years, and there's a success, and there's still challenges, and we've been through. The success, I would like to start with the success. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. And right now, some of the success story is about the small businesses. And in here, approximately about 20-25 small business in southeast part of our town. There was groceries and restaurants, auto part, and salons, and those small businesses are developing, owned by Burmese immigrants and refugees. So that's one of the success. Another success is about religions. As you know, and we are very diverse, and not just only our ethnicity, and also our religions as well. And we have as you know, majority of the people from Burma believe in Buddhist religions. We have a Christian. Even in Christian, there's a Catholic. There's a Baptist. There is this Saturday Adventists and also, and then Hindu and other religions as well. But the majority of them are Buddhist. We have about 4 or 5 Buddhist temples and 2 mosques and Sia Ibrahim building church. Please help him. So that is another success. I would like to call that as a success, because there's many times in Burma, especially different religions in Islam and Christian didn't have enough freedom towards their religions. They didn't have a chance to practice, or they didn't have a chance to openly present about their religion. So, and here today we are in Indiana, Fort Wayne, and we have a chance to believe in what we want to believe and who we want to believe, not just only religion. So that's another success. And there's another success story I would like to share. It was about our young children who graduated from here and from the Fort Wayne community schools and the East Allen County schools. And now they have become, probably you can see some of the pictures are already there, and serving in the military. There's many Marines, and there's soldiers in an army, in the Navy, in the National Guard. There's many of them already serving all the immigrant and refugee children. So that is something that we would like to call success, and we would like them recognized, and we're really proud of them and defending our country. And then another success story, it is about, again, our citizen and becoming citizen and recognize their responsibility. And especially last a few elections, they start register and they start voting, that is for me is very important that our community recognize our responsibility and knowing our rights. So especially last election, there's hundreds of Burmese immigrants become a citizen and they start voting. So that is our currently success in our community.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm taking too long.
Not at all. Not at all. Thank you for your detailed answer. Yeah. Can you tell me, what are some of the bigger differences you have noticed here with culture as compared to your various cultures? Food, clothing, values, names, rules, laws, anything that strikes you as something that sort of stood out in the time that you've been here?
You want to talk about culture differences?
Yeah, I want to talk the culture difference only then food and other things that you can talk to.
Sure, go ahead. You can fill it.
Yeah, I would like to represent that. First, I would like to share about my life in the USA. The difference between my culture and American culture is that in my children grow up and live with the parents till they get wife or husband. In Burmese culture, we discipline our children by hitting, which is our weakness. I like the American culture, the fact that children are listened to their parents or disciplined by time out. To me, that was my challenge that I had to face. I had difference in our culture. Kids are very respectful with the discipline. They worship parents, teacher, or elders. So I learned more about the American culture, and I tried to teaching softly, and then I respect to my daughter, because in our country, our country have you must have to be obey the parents. You must have to be always, hey, I can do that. You must have to do this. But that is not right way, I understood. And then I changed my mind. I teaching mine. I have 3 daughters. The teenager, too many problems. I face up but so many times I have to go back and forth to ACJC. And then sometimes stealing in the mall or something, they smoking at the school, they fighting at the school. Oh, I got really confusing about my daughters, but I changed my mind. I have to go to parenting classes, and I'm thinking about I'm talking a lot of time at the ACGC, and then I learned about the American culture. They have to time out that, hey, they talk very slowly. We are yelling, hey, hey, hey. We are just real loudly to talk for the children. But children and parents we don't have each other, we don't have love. I try to love my daughters, and then, hey, you have to thinking about your future. And then my daughter has been changed. They changed their mind, and then, Dad, I understood. Around 16, my daughters they are going to school on time, and they are working homework every time, and then they try to make a GET, the high school diploma, everything done, and then my older daughter went to I think around 2010, she started to go to the U.S. Navy. Till now, she in Navy. And then my second daughter, I'm trying to Marine. That is more stronger than Navy, she said. And then she tried to Marine. Now she in Marine. And then, so I'm proud for my two daughters. They changed their mind. And then, because that is I mean the culture is, we need to learn more about the American culture. That's why I try to teach him everything. And the good things about the USA is the fact that your children, they grow up, which turn to 18, they can have their life, adult life. They have to know about they have to choose by themselves. We have, our country is, no, because of every parents they want to be their children a doctor. Hey, you have to go to medical school. But children they want to go to military. But the parents you must have to go to doctor. So they don't want to go to doctor, but they have to be. The parents want to. Parents is only one way in our country culture. That is two bad things. That's why I have to comparison with my country and then the American culture. Right now, I be in the middle. I understand. I teaching for my children and all my community. I teaching for, you are living in United States. You have to keep your own culture, but you have to follow up the rule and everything. So United States, we are built to our balance to our life. You must have to be, that's why you are the good American, good Burmese culture, and then American citizen. That's why I'm teaching for my community.
For me, my experience. So I am like Brother Ayu. So I want to keep my culture, our culture, to obey parents. And I taught to my children, but my eldest son, he married American girl. And I was upset for more than 10 years. Finally, they divorced. But when they divorced, I am not happy because I do have 4 grandchildren. I'm not happy. And then I have 6 children. My 4th son, he married American girl again. And finally, I give up and I decided to accept American culture. And I have a song sleep. That's it.
That remind me of a conversation that I had last weekend with an 80-year-old gentleman. And as the conversation go on, and he started crying, and he said, "It is a mistake to come to the United States," and that really shocked me, because like that kind of generation, the older populations, they have a biggest challenge of the culture shock, because they couldn't adjust to this American culture. And they started to feel that they are losing their kid. And they started to feel that they're losing control over the kid and over their life. So I saw quite a few older people in the community just went back to Thai Burma border because they think the life is more simple and easier to live in that area rather than just seeing their kid adopting American culture. But what I was just going through in my mind as I was going to carry over that conversation is, it is because they come from a very deep cultural society wherever they came from back home in their native land. But right now, just honestly speaking, the urban areas in Burma are more westernized. The culture, the food, the language, a lot of things that are pretty much similar. We have pizza, we have burger, we have everything, like we have KFC and all kind of restaurants are already in the urban area of Burma. You know, the Burma just opened not too long ago, and all those restaurants get into Burma, and you get all these nice clothing. The facility clothing line are already in Burma, and the appearance, they are all the same. But at the same time, coming from refugee camp and coming from those border area, jumping to the United States seemed to be a big jump. But coming from a capital of Burma, and some of you visited Burma not too long ago, and you saw very much westernized society in Burma too. But we are changing, of course. But living in Fort Wayne is also not that different because we have such a big Burmese community in Fort Wayne. When I was living in Bloomington, which is about 3-4 hour drive from here, we don't really see a whole lot of Burmese. I couldn't have Burmese food for quite some time, and I miss it. I just feel like I am in the United States. I'm away from my country. But living in Fort Wayne doesn't make me feel any different, because anywhere I turn, I see a lot of Burmese. Every corner that you go, you see a lot of the Burmese groceries, so I eat Burmese food, and everything seems to be the same. So for us, it is not that big of a change, but for the older generation, it seems to be a big difference.
Thank you. One last question before we go to questions from the audience. What could the non-Burmese, non-Myanmar community of Fort Wayne do to make you feel more welcome, or just simply to connect with you, perhaps?
I think right now it is really warmly welcome, and we have a chance to share our feeling, our experiences, our knowledge, and we have a chance to learn from everyone. And since I arrived to the United States, so the religions community are warmly welcome. It is quite important for us. Without local community support, that it will be more challenge. And for example, Mr. Fred Gebert, he was known in the Burmese community for over nearly 30 years for providing social services. Mr. Ton Lewandowski, who is helping for the workers' cases, and many Burmese workers need help or past 20 years. So, and Niels and Diana, who is we can say the heart of the Burmese community, and now newly Tom Har and Claire, and we can name it out there, all of it, all the professors in here tonight, and warmly welcome our community, and especially have a chance to reach our dream. So there's the chance that we didn't have in Burma. We have a chance to continue our education, and we have a chance to, any IVFW, there is many educators. You come out from the IVFW. There's an engineer. There's teachers, and that's going out for reinvest to the local community. So that is something really meaningful for all of us.
Yeah. Our community feel that our Fort Wayne is our home. What I feel in my heart is the Fort Wayne community should help us for some kind of education, training, because we don't know the American law. So sometimes we husbands hit our wives, moms hit our children, something like that. So this kind of education we need. So if you guys arrange some kind of training from the police or from IPFW, so that will be great.
That's what the challenge.
And also, I would like to say one thing. Because of Fort Wayne, I think it's our family. So sometimes we have a lot of difficult things, like a language barrier, or like other different things when happen at the family, at the community. So I saw here a lot of our brother and sister, let's say my brother Gilbert. He always helping us, especially when we have any culture program. He always come down, diner. Also among here, one of the teacher, I saw here that I'm very glad, especially among current people or other, I mean, not only current people, all the people he helping. For example, if they need how to do homework, they helping. And here, as I know, all those come to here as a family, they're willing to help us. And for the language barrier, it's really, really important. I remember one of a man, he know only yes and no, that's all. So when he been to the dentist, the doctor asked him, do you like to take off? Yes. You want to cleanse your tooth? Yes. So one by one, the doctor take off. Almost gone. So this time I should say no. Then only he stopped. Only 40. So the language barrier. So I would like to say there are a lot of friends, teachers, they are teaching us day by day. And we hope for the future. Please help us as a family.
Thank you all for, you wanted to say one more thing?
I just want to add one thing that from the non-Burmese community, I just don't want everybody to feel that we are here to get all the help that we can get. We'd like to help out to the community as much as we can too. And you look in these first generations, and most of the kids are in National Guard. We have 2 Marine, 1 National Guard, and 1 in Navy. So there's just like 4 in the U.S. Army, just the second generation of these people sitting here. So that's really something that we can proud of. At the same time, as we fit into this society as a whole, we want to be a part of helping hand to other people too. So if any case that you or any society need extra hand, you can always reach out to these community advocates so that we can also want to be part of helping hand to other people who might need help. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those very meaningful words and for your willingness to share with us openly. I think we've got just a few minutes left. If we have any questions in the audience, we might have time for 1 or 2 questions.
Forgive me if I say this wrong. I'm a social worker in Fort Wayne, and one of the problems I find is, going to talking to that. First time I've ever had to use a microphone. All right, I don't think it's on though. Is that better? No. I broke it. Is it on?
Are you hearing it? I'm not hearing it.
Try now. No. can talk nice and loud. Okay, I'll talk loud. Press and hold, yeah? Press and hold. Press and hold. Mine is like that. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Is that better? Oh, wow.
Better.
Super. I'm a social worker in Fort Wayne, and occasionally I run into interpreter problems. I contacted the various community groups, and I was told unless they were a client of that group, they could not be helped with interpretation. Is there another avenue that I can use?
There's many different organizations you can reach out, and usually our Burmese Advocacy Center and we voluntarily provide services, but right now we are we are in a transition right now.
Okay.
So, but there is a victim of crime, and right now they changed different name. Amani. So you can reach them, and then also the Burmese Temple. You can reach them there as well. There's also another Burmese American Society, the organization, you can reach them too. Any other, the religion-based organization or the community-based organization, you can reach them. But and also there is a translation services and provider. There's a few of them in town.
Okay.
But for them, I think they charge some fee. So
okay.
Yeah.
That was my work question. My personal question: what can we do so we're not insulting in here? Like, I've been around Tibetan people, and I didn't know that pointing your toe toward a Tibetan person was considered very rude. Are there things that we can do that don't come across as rude for you? Thank you.
Thank you. For me, we just the same. I think it is each individual, they have a different behavior and different characters. For example, if you're Islam, they have a different tradition to greeting and space. But majority of them, I think we are American, so I think a lot of them are already adopted the culture, and I don't. Just be yourself. I think that's the best advice I can give. And when you become a friend, this is all the challenges will be. It's very easy when you become a friend. So, yeah.
Please.
I think it might be interesting to the audience to know the different ways people come to Fort Wayne, because they're not all refugees. You know, we have the DV lottery winners, we have the people coming on student visas, we have the political asylees and humanitarian parole, and aside from refugees. So I don't know, and immigration too. I have a friend who waited 12 years to immigrate. She's now one of the leading interpreters in the court here. So, you know, these people are wonderful assets to the community.
That's a great suggestion, but go ahead.
That is Diana. Thank you so much. She's the reasons that we are here, the Burmese community is in Fort Wayne. That is certainly true. It has been about 25 years that Burmese community are here in Fort Wayne. The first group is more, they are all the refugee, but it's more affiliated with the political activists. And starting from 2007, that's a big wave of the refugees came, and those people are a little more diverse community from Chin, Karen, Mon, Burmese Muslims. Most of them are the villagers from western side or southern side of Burma, and they spent most of their time in refugee camps before coming to United States. Large majority of these Burmese came through the refugee resettlement process. They had to go through several different interviews before getting a chance to come to the United States. But there are also a few people who came through a diversity lottery. What they have to do is they have to apply online, and there's a quota for every country, most of the country around the world, that they can win the lottery to come to the United States. And every year, about 500 to 1,000 Burmese want that laundry, diversity laundry to come to the United States. Now, if they do, they can pick and choose which city they want to go and live. And there's also another group of political asylee that is also a little more closely affiliated with the refugee immigrant, because that's also part of the reason of the political situations that they have to leave Burma. So looking back to the whole community, I would say about over 90% of the populations are the refugees or the political asylee, but we do have a few people who came through different avenues. And starting from 2011, the Fort Wayne has slowed down the refugee intake, and most of the refugee intake are the family reunion. So if we have any families that we can sponsor, if somebody go back and get married, they can bring their wife or spouse to the United States, or their children or their parents to come to Fort Wayne. But those are a small minority that come in. I would think that will continue over the next several years as people go back and get married and then bring back their spouse to the United States, or they bring back their children or parents to the United States.
There's one thing that I would like to request to the community, because in our Burmese community, which is Burmese mean all of us, we do not have exact data. That is something that I really looking forward to alliance with the local professional institutes or organizations, that we would like to do some census ourselves, because we each time we are presenting approximate numbers, which is we didn't have an exact number. According to the 2010 census, we only have over 3,600. So that is, from my experience, I don't think that's an accurate number. So approximately we might have a 6,000 to 7,000 because of secondary migrant migrated from the different states, and as well as there's a newborns here, and there's a new refugee resettler here. So that is something that we need help and to finding the exact, as Diana mentioned, that what is status, what is their status, and what is the population, and that is something we're really looking forward to do some of the analysis, and we need help for that area. And another area that we need help in the family violence, domestic abuse are continue a problem in our community. Then we need educator from the local professional organizations or institutes or government agency continue to help us. And then finally, I think our youth, and that's another issue. So there's those areas that, and I've been saying this as there's our challenges so far. If our community can help us, this community can help us, then that will be great to, and especially in this year on this field. Yeah.
I want to be respectful of the time that we have set aside for today, and so maybe people can join me in thanking the panelists for their open discussion today.